Hey everyone, welcome back to your weekly market outlook. This is for the 28th of July 2025, obviously the final week in the month of July, and we are quickly approaching the 1st of August deadline from Trump there. So let's take a look at last week's number there, and we do have a lot of manufacturing numbers, but again, as we kind of mentioned, it's not going to be taking center stage anytime soon. We've got the ECB interest rate decisions. We've got that unchanged, kind of expected as well. So that doesn't move the market much. I think a lot of what's been happening last week was more on Trump's deals, and the latest one was basically EU caving in. So frameworks is basically agreed upon. I wouldn't call this a deal, unlike Trump saying that it's a finalized done deal. It's not a finalized done deal at this point in time. It's really more of a framework for them to work on the deal. So this is not a final trade deal that's been going on in the market, and that's probably why we didn't see a lot of reactions as of yet. That randomness from Trump is going to take place. So it'll actually be very interesting to see what's going on this week, because it's actually a pretty jam-packed week here. Now, we got to start with the Australian inflation number here on Wednesday. The CPI numbers that we are kind of look at, is still expected to come in at 2.1% unchanged. But what we're looking at is the 3-month CPI. This one here, if we take a look at the CPI numbers, we do expect a lower quarterly numbers here. But yeah, any drop on the yearly CPI or the 3-month CPI, that would actually be a little bit of an indication that the RBA can start cutting interest rates. But if we do get the same result as per consensus, we're still going to be looking at the rate cut from the RBA to happen in the month of August. All right, and then we have the ADP numbers there as well, because this is the first Friday of August. Obviously, we're going to start getting a labor markets number from the US there. We got Bank of Canada interest rate decision, expecting them to be unchanged, and then we have the FOMC interest rate decision. Again, this one here is expected to be unchanged at 4.5%. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because we don't know what Trump is going to react to it, because obviously Trump's been pressuring Powell to start cutting interest rates, but I don't think Powell is actually going to budge this month here, so we're not expecting any changes on the 31st of July there from FOMC. And then we have the Bank of Japan interest rate decision as well. We're expecting this to be unchanged as well. I don't think it's actually time for the Bank of Japan to start hiking interest rates. They will be hiking interest rates this year. We are expecting one interest rate hikes from Bank of Japan at least from in 2025. All right, the rest is pretty much the GDP numbers from the Eurozone as well as the US. That's going to be on Wednesday as well. So it's a very jam-packed week. But again, the main focus is actually going to be on the 1st of August, because 1st of August, we have the NFP numbers from the US. We're expecting a lower NFP numbers from last month, 108,000. Unemployment rate expected to kind of pick up a little bit from 4.1 to 4.2%. So yeah, we had that surprise good labor numbers last month. We'll see what happens with this one here. If the labor market continues to improve, then it won't give the FOMC room to start cutting interest rates. And also the 1st of August is the deadline for all these trade deals as well. Well, according to Lutnick, we're not going to get an extension on this, but we'll see. We're dealing with Trump here, so there's a lot of that randomness going on. All right. Technically, a lot of this stuff here, if we take a look at the currency majors, it's all stuck in a range there. Aussie USD especially, we have been stuck in this range now for nearly 3 months. We're just trading inside the channel there. The range is getting smaller in terms of support. It has gone up. It's now 65, and major resistance is going to come in at 66.25 and 66.50. Not expecting any changes as of yet. From the movement that we have here on the Aussie USD, I think this is still going to stay inside the channel that we have here. The Euro USD, it kind of pushed back up a little bit, following that trade deals as well, going to jump up a little bit, but it's not high enough to actually kind of break that high in June there, which is at 1.1830, and this is the required test of resistance. And if we take a look at the positioning, that's very close to the resistance on the weekly pivot here. So any break above 1.1830, then we're likely going to be tracking towards 1.1830. 1.19. In terms of the support side of things, we got two support to watch out for. The first one's going to be at 1.1650. The second one's going to be at 1.16. Ideally, we don't move back down below 1.16 for the euro to maintain that uptrend. But if it does move below 1.16, it will create a little bit of a change on the minor structure, but it is still going to be well supported at 1.15. Now the sterling here is this is where I need to warn you guys to be a little bit more on the careful side, because this one is now stuck inside the Ishimoku cloud. It's stuck at the other block as well. And if we take a look at the positioning on price here, if price remains flat at 1.34 to 1.3450 for until Wednesday and Thursday, it would actually transition below the Ishimoku cloud. And this would actually be the first time it transitioned below the Ishimoku cloud ever since March, April on the sterling here. So this is actually, we're very close to a potential major change on sterling's direction, especially for the month of August. If it does survive, it manages to bounce us up, close above 1.35, then yeah, it might actually prolong its life a little bit. But just looking at the Ishimoku cloud itself, it is actually getting very, very thin all the way to the month of September. So we'll see what happens here. Oscillators are pretty flat. So this one here, we're not really trending anywhere. It's really flat on the sterling. Right. Last, we have the Dow Japanese yen. Dow Japanese yen, in terms of structural movement, obviously it has broken above that symmetrical triangle. It is being capped by 149. You can see that blue box over there. That was basically May's high, and price is not able to push beyond the month of May's high. So basically, price needs to move beyond that level there, and we need to move above that blue box there. So we need a daily close above 149 before we can actually push higher towards 150 and 151, where there's actually a much stronger resistance up there. Now support wise, we're currently going to be looking at 147 and then 146.50, but ultimately what we can see here is that the support at 146, where the support one on the weekly pivot is currently located, that's very close to the Kijun Sen. So we do expect a stronger support to come in at 146. So for the range on the Japanese yen this week, we're anticipating price to be traded between 146 and 149. All right, so with that, good luck to your trades for this week, and I'll see you soon.